I went to every building in campus trying to find. Oh, really? I wouldn't be that. I was because I used to go. I would go out at night and I would fill it up and put it in our little refrigerator and I'd come back home and like sit on it in my bed and then I wouldn't be eating. Yeah, because you're like Spencer knew this. It wasn't a thing. And then watch Coraline on my with my fingers glasses.
Just some working out.
I don't mind if I get money or say like if you start. Oh, you're she does the same thing? Does she shine you with a light before she falls asleep?
Oh,
that's upsetting.
I got them all done. But I thought I didn't do this.
When was that?
Well, I think I put that in. I just put it like
Rachel, Taylor, Quentin, and oh, I didn't know you were involved. And you didn't tell me. You didn't even tell me. I finished we gave everyone our code. So everyone could just he showed up in my face one day too and I was like I didn't know you knew about that. I'm proud of you for doing that. I missed her out the whole rest of the year. Little freshman. Oh, the problems we used to have when we didn't have real school. Remember when you didn't do anything for class? For the first 2 years, I
hope you all agree that it is a great day to be a 6th grader at Golden Middle School.
Woo!
But I hope you especially agree that it is a great day to be a 6th grader in math class. Now, before we get started, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen. I have a very important question for you. Do you prefer cake or ice cream? Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream. Just think about it for a minute. Yes. No, you have to. Well, if you don't like either, you don't have to pick. But you just, if you do like them, just pick one. Do you have a question?
Yeah. What if you have
I should have anticipated that. For simplification purposes, just pick one, please. Now, unfortunately, this does not indicate the treat that we'll be having later, but equally as exciting, your choice determines which word problem we're going to be working on. So, now that I've given you a couple seconds to think about it, for those of you who prefer cake, would you please stand up? Oh.
I saw that someone over here.
Okay, do we have any other cake people? Okay, so I'd like for you to, well, there's not very many. I was going to say let's count off so we get a total number, but I think there's 4.
You think? Wow, that's good at math.
Okay, so for the ice cream people, do we have 28 people here today?
7. Can we still stand up?
Ice cream people. And let's go through the exercise. If you can count off, Ryan, you can start.
1, 2.
It's my favorite grade.
4.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10,
11.
12,
13, 14, 15,
16,
17,
18,
19,
20.
21, 22.
Perfect. All right, ice cream people, you can sit down. Thank you very much. So, as we can see, I think ice cream people won. So, we are going to transition a little bit. And as you all are aware, we have been spending the past couple days talking about word problems. So I would like to open up a discussion where people can offer their opinions on word problems. If you like word problems, please be specific and tell me why you like them. If you don't like them, again, be specific. Tell me what you don't like about them. Does anybody have any thoughts? Dina?
I don't think word problems are useful when it takes up an entire page and all the information that you want is at the end. When it, especially in math problems, when it gives you a whole bunch of information or exactly what you need, and then at the end you'll say, do this.
Okay,
so
so
the whole
could
time
I-
you're searching.
Could I summarize that as being wordy? That
Yes.
sometimes they're really wordy?
Word problems are wordy.
Okay.
Interesting.
Does anybody have any other thoughts? Brittany?
When word problems are wordy, you get lost in the wordiness.
Very good.
Whoa, statement.
In 6th grade. We know everything.
Does anybody else?
Sometimes there's extra information in the word problems and it makes it really confusing.
I agree.
Which ones to use?
Dina again?
And you have to imagine the word problem. It's not like something that's right in front of you and you have this, it doesn't seem real like.
Okay. So maybe for some students it's hard to conceptualize?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's all.
Reading, just hate the reading.
6th grade.
It's true.
And two more if we have some. James?
This is Douglas. I don't like word problems because I know how to do the problem, but I can't set it up.
Valid point. And I think I saw Kayla.
It's sometimes kind of an opportunity side, hard to pick out what information is important.
Okay, very good. Okay. I think we came up with a pretty good list. What I would like for you to do is just kind of keep this list in the back of your mind. I'm going to introduce a strategy called structured note-taking that will help as we're working through a problem. As you can see up on the screen, structured note-taking is a strategy to help students become more organized and better understand the material that they are studying. And a specific tool that is a part of structured note-taking is what's called a graphic organizer. Now everybody should have a copy of graphic organizer in front of them. And we'll also put one here in the document exam. Okay. And this is just one example of a graphic organizer. There are many different types. As students have practice with graphic organizers, teachers actually encourage students to modify a graphic organizer that's given to you, or you can even create your own that's going to help you with the task that you're trying to accomplish. Structured note-taking and graphic organizers, they can deal with the actual note-taking process, but you can also apply them, like today we can apply this graphic organizer to help us solve a word problem. So they can function in several different content areas and in a lot of different activities. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through and explain each step of this graphic organizer before you all have a chance to practice on your own. Okay. So for step one, and you actually have a graphic organizer on both sides of your paper, so if you want to take notes during this process, and then you can flip it over for when we're actually working the problem. Sorry, this is really weird to get it straight. Okay, so for the first step, restate the question. Basically what that is asking of you is to write in your own words what you're supposed to be solving for. And that's kind of the key phrase, is in your own words, because as you're navigating through the word problem, that's going to help you kind of remember what you need to be looking for. Step two, find the needed data. Some of you talked about how there's extra information in the problem. Sometimes you get lost as you're reading everything. So this step is going to be critical because it's going to help you identify the information that you need specifically to solve the problem. It's going to get rid of the extra numbers, the extra information that's in there, so you can just disregard it and only focus on what's important. to do. Now that we've identified the key information in step 2, what do we need to do with it? So in step 3, you're not actually performing the calculations, but you would write down, multiply, and then what numbers are you going to multiply together. And then maybe after you multiply, you need to add, and so you write down what numbers you need to add together. And what's critical in step 3, not only are the calculations that you need to perform, but you also need to be careful about the order that you're writing them down. In step 4, find the answer. This is where we're actually going to perform the calculations. Now, for a lot of students, it might be easy to just do the calculations in step 3, but I really want you to kind of work out your time and, you know, go through it in this order because I think it'll help you when we get to the very end. Step 5. This is a step that I think a lot of students forget about. I'm not sure if students come up with an answer, they get in a hurry, they circle it and they move on, or as I mentioned, or if they forget. But I think checking the work is really important. And especially with word problems, when you come up with an answer, you can look at the wording of the original problem or look at what you have already established in the previous steps and decide, is my answer logical? Does it even make sense with what I'm supposed to be looking for? And then finally, after you've worked through all of the steps, step 6 is to write down your answer and feel confident about it. Does anybody have any questions on the graphic organizer before you all have a chance to practice on your own? Okay, perfect. Well, as I mentioned before, it looks like the ice cream people won. So, who would get ice cream? I'm putting this problem up on the board. I'm also going to pass out copies. I know some people like to read, like to actually hold the problem. So we'll read quietly for a minute, and then I'll give you more instructions.
How sad is that? This is for 6th grade. Do you know how to do this, Ben? You have to do it's cut more straight. No.
Okay, I'm assuming by the chatting that is going on that everybody's read the problem. If you will work with your table mates and complete the graphic organizer for this ice cream word problem, and I'll be walking around if anybody has any questions.
Probably not. Feel confident. Okay. What we need to do is we need to put, don't copy from us, Sean.
I'm doing this thing. I'm not even doing that stuff.
So you go something over 100. So
well, not that. 2.25. That's that. So then you're going to have x over 8. So you're going to have 8 times 2.5, which is going to be
I have one. I say it, it's on for
set up.
3.63. Which would be what we already divided it. No, I get that. I'm just saying you have to turn 3.6 into actual like a measurement, you would say. So it'd be 3.6 is 3 cups and 2/3.
You mean 3.6 cups? You can also say it is like
Data, 1/4 is data, 2.5 cups.
Okay.
is 1/4 is 0.5.
That's really good.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be like, hey, 3.6 cups. That's not gonna be in your recipe book.
That could be enough for 8.
So how would it be in regular language? Oh, I have a calculator with a conversion tool on it.
Well, then you convert on your fun little calculator. You sing.
Look at her calculator. Wow.
So is this currency like math?
Alright, class. Unfortunately, we are just about out of time. If I could have everyone's attention up here, please.
She's got it. Look at that baby.
Why did you make
Okay,
me
to
take
kind of wrap up, just to make sure that everybody's on the right track, do I have a volunteer who would be willing to share what their group came up with for restating the question? I want to make sure that we're all on the right track with that, and then we can finish the rest of this tonight for homework. Do I have a volunteer for step 1?
We restated how much cream is needed for your 8.
That's perfect. Does everybody's question that they wrote down sound similar to Ryan's? We're all sort of on the same page? Okay, perfect. If you didn't have a chance to make it through and complete the entire organizer, I would ask that you do that tonight for homework. We will practice more with graphic organizers and word problems tomorrow, and then if you could also please bring your learning logs tomorrow because we're going to make an entry about graphic organizers. Thanks, class. Have a great day.
Working the camera.
Thank you.
Hey,